Hello and welcome to the Zia Wool Studio Buzz podcast. My name is Doug and I'm coming to you from Albuquerque in the beautiful desert of New Mexico. This is a podcast about all the yarny things with occasional excursions into the world of paper, ink, and fountain pens. However, today I am surrounded by all the woolly stuff, and I'm looking forward to telling you everything about what I've been up to in the past weeks. Apologies, I usually record the German and the English episodes back to back. I didn't, and then sometimes things happen, and with the days being shorter, sometimes then it doesn't happen, and I usually like to take advantage of the natural light during the day. But let's get started. I finished something that you have seen in the last episode, and that's my Halloween socks. These I made with Zia Wool's Taos, which is my Corriedale sock yarn base. It has a nylon content, superwash Corriedale. And I used half a skein of yarn and shared with friends. And that's why I was prepared. I had the orange minis, but I made my leg too long, and so I ran out of yarn on the second sock right when I got to the toe about here. I had thought that I was gonna be fine with just having one toe, whatever, orange, and the other one mismatching in the Halloween colorway, which by the way is called Witch Hunter. But it turned out it bugged me. I could not make myself finish one of the socks with orange. And so I asked my friend Lauren, hey, do you have yarn left over? And she has smaller feet than I do. Plus, I think she also did her heels in a contrasting color. So that was great. And I went to knit at her place on Halloween with some friends, and I got the yarn, so I got them done ready for Halloween night, and I could wear them that day. So that was good enough for me. And so did she, by the way. Yes, and otherwise I'm looking down on the cat because Ike came here. You know, this little snuggle bug. Come here and say hi. Say hi. Yes, say I'm pretty and cute, and I love to cuddle. Yeah, so then I did continue to work on my birds of a feather shawl. You know, I made one recently in shades of a golden yellow. That one I cannot show you because it's at the yarn store on display. But I had to make another one after all, even though I wasn't sure I was going to enjoy that. But I do immensely. And the project lives in this Halloween bag, which I thought, oh, let's just use this one, and maybe it encourages me to push this project forward. Halloween is way in the past, and I have not finished the shawl, but whatever. I'm fine. The yarn I use is Zia Wool's. The unfuzzy skein is Honeysuckle, which is a merino cashmere silk blend with a super nice sheen. And the other one is a baby Suri alpaca silk blend that I call Velvet. Yeah. And this is, in fact, these two projects, the socks and the shawl, are the only projects other than my Duke City mitts that I have pushed forward. But let me go in order. Let me show you the shawl, which I love so much. I have talked about this before. I'm using 3.5 millimeter needles. The pattern is by Andrea Mowry, a pay-for pattern on Ravelry. And I know that she suggests 4 millimeter needles, but I thought, I like with fingering yarn, I just really like to use 3.5 millimeters. So I thought I'm going to stick with that. And the shawl that I already did is plenty large. So that's something I'm a tight knitter, but if you are a loose knitter, I would even recommend to go down a needle size. The pink is a one-of-a-kind pink, and the honeysuckle is the colorway called More Than a Woman. Yeah, and I turned the corner. Do you even say that? Well, I started decreasing, but it's very slow. So I'm looking forward to this shawl because I just love this. Love the colors so very much. I'm excited about this to get done. Hopefully. I don't even know. I'm not gonna plan on any kind of timeline. That was the Birds of a Feather, and then we're getting to the Duke City mitts. If you have watched the podcast before, you may remember that I used to participate in a neighborhood studio tour where artists and makers would open their homes to visitors and offer things for sale and show where they work and have a kind of like an early Christmas shopping. Of course, that was not possible last year, but I have participated in the years before. And while I used to knit larger items for sale, but I don't do that anymore. But the only thing that I really enjoy making for sale still are my Duke City mitts. And after I got a call from a previous customers from the studio tour who wanted to see if I still had fingerless mitts, I started making them and there was no looking back. So I keep cranking them out and I kept knitting them. And today the lady stopped by and shopped, and I have a lot of mitts. I still have a lot of mitts, but I'm still in the process of making some, so whatever. In between, I also spun more yarn because they're just super nice to make. I wanted to say they're nicer in hand spun yarn, which is not really true because I have some friends who have combined two strands of sock yarn and held that with mohair, and they look amazing. They can totally compete with a hand spun. But for me personally, because I don't knit that much with my hand spun, so it's always nice to use that. And then I want to have more hand spun, You get what I mean. I want to start by showing you the ones that I am making right now, and then I'm going to show you the ones that I have finished, minus those that I sold today. That's the yarn. So very fall. And this is where I am right now. 2 are finished, but I'm really not sure, because the lady who came by to shop, she said she had slim hands, but these were even too small for her. So I may actually rip back this one and make it and add some stitches. I'll see. And here are the finished ones that I still have, which will eventually be available in the Shawl shop on Etsy. I tied these differently together. I don't know why. Shouldn't have done it the way, whatever. And these last ones I haven't finished the labels, so the label is dangling out. These, for example, were made from a drum carded bat. Very different effect. Yep, that's it. But it's not the end of the fingerless mitts. As I told you, I'm in the process of making more. Plus, I'm just spinning some yarn where I'm very excited about how it turns out. And I know I'm going to have to make another pair of mitts, and that's the braid. I mean, that's half of it. I'm done spinning one half. I'm a little frustrated because I don't know what the fibers are. I think it's superwash merino, but I'm not 100% sure. And I have this lined up. For some reason, I had planned to put this into a bat where I wanted to use up identical strips of the roving for the for the different bats, but I don't think I'm going to do that. And the fiber I love so much because it's New Mexican Rambouillet. And I put it into a bag because I already split it into 2 halves, which are in line and waiting patiently to be spun up, because I usually do 2-ply yarns, and which means I spin half of the fibers onto one bobbin, for those of you who are not familiar, the other half on the other bobbin, and then they get combined. I apply them together. Combined. That's a nice word creation, right? And then I have more yarns that I spun that I actually also would like to turn into Duke City mitts. I've mentioned it many times before. Duke City mitts it's a pattern that I wrote down, and it's available for free on Ravelry. And it's fun. So these I would also like to turn into Duke City mitts. This is Falkland. That was my first time spinning Falkland. Another first was a braid from Sherry from Twisted Dye Kitchen. Oh, I love it. Sherry, I know you're watching. This was a beautifully dyed braid, and I'm very excited about how the yarn turned out. It was 4 ounces, and like I said before, 2-ply yarn and Duke City mitts, I think. This is a yarn that I showed on the German podcast, Half Spun. And now I'm done with the other half, and I applied it. And this one actually turned out so fine that I don't think I'm gonna turn it into the mitts. I think I have about 400 yards for 100 grams. So that's a little finer than I like. And another one lined up for spinning. I'm sorry, let me pull this out of the bag. Is this. So if you haven't guessed it by now, I dye spinning top also, and I actually love it. And so occasionally I get into this frenzy of spinning after I haven't spun anything in months, and then I start and I cannot stop. It's just a fun process. Yeah, I have something here that I brought you because it's something that I would love to turn into a garment, and I thought, well, just show it on the podcast, because we all love to see beautiful yarn. And this one I found as I was trying to hunt down what I have in regards to hand spun, what I could use, and then I found this bag with this. Isn't it gorgeous? I bought 5 skeins of Madeline Tosh in the colorway Cove, and I remember I didn't take it home from the store because I thought I needed from the same dye lot, but then they shipped it to me, and it's still, the skeins are quite different. So now I'm very uncertain about what I should do. I should just, because I don't want to alternate skeins. I'm just not in the mood for it. I'm lazy. So I shall see, and you'll find out. I'm going to tell you when the time has come and I have started knitting. I have found a nice free sweater pattern with a V-neck that I'm considering. But there's another pattern that I did want to show you, which I thought was absolutely brilliant, and it's a free pattern as well. Let me reach over here, and it is this. Yeah. It's a hat called the Burnished Knight Hat, but what I find so wonderful about it is that if you divide it into 4 quarters, 2 of them are identical and stockinette. 1 is garter, and the 4th one is in a leafy lace pattern. And if I didn't have so much on my needles and I wasn't on that Duke City Mitts roll, I would already have cast it on, because this is absolutely brilliant in my book. Yeah, I'm looking forward to making one. And I have the hap stretcher, and I have made several haps, but I think this one I'm going to make as a half hap, and probably not stick exactly to the pattern, because it's been written and published by Blacker Yarns. Probably an worsted at least, but I think I'm going to make it with a not quite that heavy yarn. Yeah, I haven't yet looked at my yarns and haven't decided yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. I could actually maybe even use this gorgeous hand spun. Well, I'm going to spin some more yarn. I could do that too. I'm definitely slow down. Definitely looking forward to that. So I am not always done so quickly. However, when I'm done, I'm done. All of my other projects I have not touched in the past weeks. And now you know why. And let's see what happens until I see you again. And I hope you're all doing well, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon. And until then, happy knitting.